Welcome to Garrard McClendon Live. A very interesting day today, and I'm telling you, you talk about politics making strange bedfellows. The number is 630-575-TALK. You know, first we want to look at some clips from Governor Blagojevich from earlier today. He said he was surprised. Let's take a look.
So this is not something that came as a complete surprise to me. It happened kind of fast, but again, kind of expected and part of the process that has essentially been the dynamic in Illinois since I was reelected governor in November of 2006.
Actually, he said it was no surprise. He was expecting it. And, you know, with the nefarious activities allegedly that Governor Blagojevich has been, doing, it could get much worse. Let's look at the next clip. This could be a diversion.
We're joined here today, I'll be happy to talk to you. We're joined here today by several families who benefited by some of the programs and some of the initiatives, because I wouldn't take no for an answer from a house that was designed to block everything that could help people for whatever their motivations.
He won't take no for an answer. It's really interesting because Governor Blagojevich basically said that some of the things that everyone's looking at him as being guilty of were good things. But let's look at one more clip where he says he's simply not guilty.
I understand the House's actions. I'm not at all surprised by it. But I took actions with the advice of lawyers and experts to find ways, creative ways, to use the executive authority of a governor to get real things done for people who rely on us. And in many cases, the things we did for people have literally saved lives. I don't believe those are impeachable offenses. So we're going to move forward, and I'm going to continue to fight every step of the way. Let me reassert to all of you once more that I am not guilty of any criminal wrongdoing. That issue will be dealt with on a separate course in an appropriate forum, a federal court. And I'm confident that at the end of the day, I will be properly exonerated.
Properly exonerated. You know what? We're going to get right into this. Joining us now from CLTV Studio C is Attorney Tony Walker from the Walker Law Group. Attorney Walker, how are you this evening?
I'm wonderful. Good evening, Mr. McClendon.
You know what? You got to help me out here because I've been beating up Rob Blagojevich, man, for the last month and a half. You know, this morning, Tony, he said that he said, impeaching me for good things I have done. And then he rattles off this whole curriculum vitae of the good things he's done. You know, I thought this morning, Tony, that after his run, he did his cardio this morning, he'd be a lot more calm, but he was a pit bull. Let's talk about due process, Attorney Walker.
Well, the governor is definitely a fighter, Gerard, and as he said, he is absolutely correct in his statement that he has not been convicted of any criminal offense. And we have to keep that in mind with the headlines this evening about the impeachment. The impeachment, Gerard, is not a criminal proceeding. It is a proceeding for the General Assembly to determine whether or not the governor can continue to serve as governor.
Yeah, you know what? Let me cut you right there, because what's so interesting is that people assume that impeachment means you're immediately thrown out. And I think this is the difference between denotation and connotation. You know, tell us the difference between being impeached and being convicted.
Absolutely. And the analogy that's probably most appropriate here is what the House of Representatives has done today was to essentially indict the governor. They served as a body which reviewed the charges and reviewed evidence against the governor, and as a result has said there is sufficient evidence here to indict the governor in a non-criminal way, of course, under the impeachment legislation, and to say we think this is meritorious of further investigation and deliberation by the Senate. So what they've done is analogous to what we have on the criminal side under our grand jury system, where the Illinois House has basically served as a grand jury. There's been evidence brought before them, and they say, well, it's enough here to go to the next step to decide whether whether or not the governor, in fact, has done something that is requires him to be removed from office.
You know, Tony, let's talk about the public trust, because I'm looking at the 13 accusations in the Chicago Tribune today. Blagojevich plotted to obtain a personal benefit in exchange to fill the vacant Senate seat. Blagojevich plotted to condition the award of state financial assistance to the Tribune Company on the firing of Chicago Tribune editorial board members. Blagojevich disregarded authority, procedure, and the separation of powers by unilaterally expanding a state health care program. Let's talk about violation of the public trust.
Well, I think they'll have a hard time proving that by expanding health care benefits for Illinois residents, he violated the public trust. But when you get into some of the allegations that are being made by the U.S. attorney and some of the other allegations contained in the articles of impeachment, there's definitely, I believe, an issue that at least most Illinoisans believe is enough, or at least meets the threshold to go to the next step.
There we go. You know what, Tony? I'm going to take a phone call. Eric, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Eric, what's your comment? Eric, what's your comment? Eric, what's your comment?
Oh, hello, Mr. McClendon.
Hello.
I just want to say I don't think there's enough evidence. Hello, I don't think there's enough evidence to support a conviction.
Okay. Okay. So are you saying that even if he's on tape on the wiretaps, that's still not enough? Or I mean,
no, I think that they violated the governor's Fourth Amendment rights,
okay,
his Sixth Amendment rights, and his Eighth Amendment rights.
Okay, now, Eric, how so on one of those amendments?
Well, the governor has the right to a fair trial with no cruel or unusual punishment. The governor has the right to confront all accusers against him. I mean, I've been friends with a guy named Bill Singer, who's been in politics for a long time, and I've known Bill Singer for 25 years.
Okay. Okay, now, Eric, let me ask you this, though. If you say something that is derogatory or that is threatening, is that a crime?
No, it is not.
Okay, now tell me this, though. If you plot a conspiracy and the conspiracy has not developed or transpired, is that not a crime?
Well, you either draw a pyramid or you get no conviction.
Oh, come on now, Eric. Eric, thanks for the phone call. I appreciate it. Tony Walker, help me out here, man. If you're plotting a conspiracy and you were unable to carry that out, is that not a crime?
Well, Gerard, the key phrase is what you opened up the show with, is due process. And Eric is absolutely correct. The governor has a right under the U.S. Constitution and the Illinois Constitution to confront the people that are making charges about him, to actually add some context to what we've already heard published in the media with the wiretaps. There is another side to this story,
Hey, Tony,
and he has a right to present his case.
Hey, Tony, hold on tight, man. I got to go to break. Hey, you can counterpunch my arguments or simply agree with me. Hit my blog at cltv.com/GML and join the conversation online. Garrard McClendon Live will be back in a moment.
And Governor Blagojevich has lost the confidence of the people of Illinois. He's lost the consent of the governed. And under those circumstances, I think the proper course, as I've said before and many others have said, is to step aside and to resign. And I wish he had resigned today.
Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. You know, Lieutenant Governor Pat Quinn wish he would have resigned today. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. Part 1, impeachment. Part 2, conviction. Joining us from CLTV Studios is attorney Tony Walker, Walker Law Group, who's helping us figure out due process, impeachment, and the trial by media. Before I go to phones, Tony, let's talk about trial by media. Do you think it's fair or unfair for the press to get involved with some of these so-called accusations? Now, on a show like mine, I pretty much can say what I want because it's an editorial opinion show. But do you think that trial by media hurts this case?
I believe it's the media's job to be involved, Gerard, and you can have some excesses. And I think one thing that the media would be wise to do is admonish their readers, listeners, viewers to not rush to judgment, because we have not had the opportunity yet to hear the governor's side of the story, which we now will have probably in the Senate court of impeachment proceedings before we have in the federal court.
Oh, man, this is getting scary. Let me go to Kenny. Kenny, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Kenny, what's your comment?
Well, basically, my comment is to say that you have a most wonderfully incredible show.
Thank you.
I don't get to watch it as often as I'd like, but when I do, it's always innovative and exciting and
I
just
appreciate
wonderful. And so, but I just basically want to say that I sincerely wish that the governor, as other people are saying, would have resigned. But what I want to focus in on is, I don't know where or who started this thing about Jesse White's black card or something. I'm not exactly sure what that was involved, but I think that he, as well as other officials, have been unfairly and unjustly there's an attempt to drag them down with the governor's spiral.
That's true.
And I think that whoever started this, and to be able to, what I call throw Mr. White under the bus, was just unfair, and I think that they should apologize, and that because he does not deserve that. And as everyone can see, he has done his job, and what's supposed to have happened did culminate today. And the fact that he is not responsible and he has not done anything wrong.
Wow, we appreciate your phone call. Thank you so much for weighing in. You know, Tony, she's got a good point. People have been beating up Jesse White.
Absolutely, and they've been unfairly beating up Jesse White because as the Supreme Court has ruled today, he is completely vindicated and in the opinion stating that he does not even have to sign the appointment.
That's right. I'm going to go to Ron next. Ron, thanks for calling. GML, what's your comment?
Hey, I wanted to say that Jesse White has done his job wonderfully. Blagojevich is a dead governor walking. He's just about out.
Wow. So you think he's just flat out guilty of everything?
Oh, absolutely. Even his father-in-law thinks he's corrupt.
Hey, thanks for the phone call. Appreciate the phone call. You know what? I got to go to commercial break. The show goes so fast. Should Rod Blagojevich have been impeached? Release the wiretaps. Got to wait until the Senate gets a hold of them. 630-575-TALK. Garrard McClendon Live. Walker Law Group will be back in 2 minutes.